All right. What's going on, everybody? Thanks for hanging out here with me. Let me know. You make sure you can hear me. Okay, let me know. I'm pretty sure you can. Everything looks kosher on this end. Everything looks good. Very warm. Hello. Thanks for hanging out. Of course. This is my live stream going on my YouTube channel, Cheds Trading. I have a huge educational library. If you ever hear me talk about a term or you ever hear someone else talk about a term, like with TA, I mean, there's other people who do fundamentals and stuff like that, but I try to just do the top tier professional TA. I'm a technical analyst. And if you ever hear a term, you're not sure, what it is, you can probably go look it up in the encyclopedia, the trading encyclopedia. There'll probably be, a bunch of terms from today's stream that you may want to know more about. Simple ones like a throwback or an underside test. What's a pin bar? We'll talk about that. Two-level filter. What's an outside break? How to draw a trend line. There's like 360 videos now. I'm going to try to get this series up to 500 videos, and that's my plan. So I've got plans for about 500 videos. I publish 4 books, NBD, no big deal. Get them all free on my YouTube. So I'm just kind of going over all the kind of the free material for you. Of course, these are interactive streams where I like to hear from you. I like to hear your questions, so we can come up with ideas and things to talk about. Because there's a good chance that the question you have, somebody else has it too. So we can work together to create this learning, this educational atmosphere. I'm on Twitter, of course, at Big Cheds. This stream is sponsored by BingX and AlphaX. Let me go ahead and find that for you. I got way too many tweets. Coming down here somewhere. Here we go. And their DEX AlphaX. I've worked with BingX for like 7 years. A great relationship with them. And if you want more, right? Pretty much everything I do is free, except Bitcoin Live, where I do a twice a week full market report. Bitcoin Live members come first. I try to stream, of course, here once a week, but I save, the best of the best, of course, for Bitcoin Live. And I haven't missed a report in 8 years. And look at my team. I mean, what a great team. So yeah, check that out, of course, as well, if you'd like. But let's get the charts up. We're here to talk about the charts. Get your questions ready. I see a bunch of questions, Psalm and Yao, and a bunch of familiar names, Dono. So we're going to cover all that stuff. Venice, people are asking about grass, render. We'll take a look at all that stuff. Happy Friday to you too, everyone. Thank you for the comments. Big picture, nothing's really changed. Big picture, we're still reeling, and I would say go back and watch last Friday's stream, but we're still reeling from the rejection at the underside of the last consolidation range. And we've begun essentially, let's try that again. We've begun essentially a falling channel. So we're in a falling channel now, following this rejection, following the inability of the price, to re-enter the power zone here with the RSI, which would have, kind of give you a nice boost to momentum. It would have signified, confirmation on the breakout, and would have really increased the chances of, the long-term bottom already being in. So we're kind of reeling from that. And, as you know, even though I've been calling for an ultimate, cycle bottom, if you want to use that terminology, I think is probably reasonable. I've been calling for an ultimate cycle bottom, in this 35-45 range. And I've been specifically saying really 37.8K is just my best guess for fun, right? I still nailed this bottom here at 60K, and we took a nice long together. If you followed me, I told you ahead of time it was coming. I told you while it was bottoming. And so it's been an interesting ride from this bottom, from this bottom here and this pivot point here where we were unable to re-enter this range. So it does kind of look like this bounce is winding down and we've begun this falling channel. This is just recap. You can go watch, last Friday's video too, where I may have gone over that in more detail, but we're kind of see the momentum hangover here, shoulder, head, shoulder, breaking the neck baseline, losing the MA50 now, moving averages crossing back over the 8 and the 34. Let me make this a little bit brighter, a little bit stronger. There we go. I thought I had done that already. That looks a little bit better. So a little bit stronger, 834 cross, bear cross. We're now on the underside, EMA 8, right? And what I've kind of been anticipating, even I've been saying for Bitcoin Live for a while, and even on Twitter, 71.5's in the cards. I basically said that up here when we lost this key level. But I was anticipating a bounce off this area and then another bounce. So I've been kind of anticipating a bounce here. And it's a question of I just don't know if we're getting it or not. I'm getting a lot of mixed signals, and I want to go over that with you. But what I'm basically trying to do is not only predict the channel, but like the zigzags within the channel, which is kind of difficult. So some things will look good, you know, in retrospect, other things won't. But we are at least seeing a potential tweezer bottom here. We see that the dual shadows, similar lows at the lower Bollinger Band, which is where you would see a bottom type of structure. But again, into this falling demand, into this falling supply in this downward channel. And so, you know, whether it bounces to 75K, 76, you know, K, it's headed for 71.5. And I've just been waiting to see what the price reaction is going to be at that level. So I'm still, you know, patiently waiting for what I perceive to be, you know, kind of the next major level. And we're pretty close to it. But I just think another little bit down, perhaps after a minor bounce. And that's, for now, that's my base case, okay? Ethereum's just weak. It's terrible. But here we have kind of a tweezer bottom as well. You got the hammer candle, and we are getting the spinning top today. It's a good tweezer bottom here as well. But just a lack of momentum. It's hard to get interested. It's hard to get excited. It's been underperforming Bitcoin. Failed multiple times in the 2400 breakout, failed to hold at 2150, 2200. So, you know, that's all that. We've just got a huge list of altcoins to talk about that are just been exciting. We'll catch up on Zcash. You know, we'll look at Hype. Look at Hype, new high here, huh? JST's been super strong. Look at that, getting really to the apex of the triangle. Near's been pretty strong. Here's some consolidation. There's a bunch of other ones that we can go over. Some ones that are starting to kind of get up off the mat, like INJ starting to get up off the mat here, which is notable. And so we'll spend some time, you know, talking about these. And then, of course, you know, all your requests. Just real quickly, I'll go over SPYs are just ridiculous. Obviously, you don't need me. You don't need a professional TA analyst to tell you this chart's insane. Beautiful grind higher. Qs are grinding higher as well. What are we thinking about? We talked about MicroStrategy. We're talking about that failed, failed break of the neckline. Now essentially a right shoulder invalidation. You know, as you know, with the head and shoulders, you're going to play either the breakout of the neck baseline or you play a right shoulder invalidation. That's what we see there. Solar ETF TAN has been insane. A bunch of charts are just insane. So we can get to all that, but I want to kind of hear from you guys what you want to talk about. So let me know how you're feeling. Eid Mubarak to you as well. Abdul Shamari, nice to see you. Thank you so much. Somebody told me yesterday how to say hello in Arabic. It was like Sabir Al-Haim or something like that. Because I always like to know a couple words in everyone's language. But it was like Sabir Al. I wrote it down. I don't remember what it was, but it's amazing you can make someone smile just by, you know, saying a few words in their language. And if you've never tried, you've never thought about it, it's really worth it. I mean, you know, but maybe it's a personality thing, just what I like to do. So let's go here. Let's go from the top. So Venice, Saul wants to talk about Venice token. I mean, this has been a very strong coin. And again, thank you folks for showing up. I just want to say real quickly, you know, your participation means a lot to me. I mean, there's a lot of channels. I kind of think I'm the best, as you know that. You should think you're the best, so you have confidence in yourself. I'm proud of what I do. There's different styles, but your feedback makes me feel that I'm valued, and I appreciate. I mean, I know I'm valued, but I just like that you're here. It encourages me to do more of these streams and to stay continually creating content and interacting with you. I mean, all that stuff. So thank you, everybody. So let's talk about Venice token. So what do we think about it? I don't know if you have a specific question. Can you take a look at it? You're waiting to re-enter Venice. Yeah. Well, I'd say kind of the first the level of interest would be here, right around the lower Bollinger and probably the rising 50. which is going to be around 13 bucks. It's consolidating, but there's definitely, the price is clearly in a corrective phase. Having lost the MA20 here, and it kind of looks like it's inching towards this level to be tested. So I think I would just, if you're looking for re-entering, I would wait for it to drop a little bit lower, maybe somewhere near the lower Bollinger Band, but still just a beautiful chart. Look at the price versus the MA200. What's the blue line, folks? The blue line is the 200 period simple moving average. That's what SMA means. It means equally weighted. Okay. And you want me to look at CoreWeave, right? CRWV. Let's take a look. Get your requests ready. I'm here for you folks. This is your time, right? We're going to talk about whatever you want to talk about other than politics, because I don't know anything. I'm terrible in politics. I'm pretty good with charts. I'm happy to just kind of take a look for you. CoreWeave. I mean, look at this consolidation. For me, it boils down to this clear attempted stair step. And I have a video, of course, in the encyclopedia playlist, on the concept of stair step, and you can find it in here. I'm not going to sport your patience, but it's generally the idea that you're going to be consolidating, and while consolidating, you're turning, resistance into support. And you kind of see a set of stairs here, right? You see the stairs, right? That's the same concept. And so really here, you just want to see if it holds this momentum pivot in the high 90s, low 100s. Now, the trend isn't, it's not an overwhelming trend, right? We see the sideways MA200, but you've got some higher lows here. You've got a lower high break here that failed to hold, but can you stair step? So we'll just watch right there, okay? All right, render. Danny says, can you look at render? Man, I'm happy to do it. I'm really happy to do it. I happen to have it right here. Let's clean this up. Now, I put out a tweet on render recently. I'm not going to go search for it. I'm not going to sport your patience, but I basically pointed out that here was a mature consolidation. I did a video specifically on this, but like this, basically this part of the channel was mature, which basically means, all right, say the price starts out here. It's not a mature range yet, but say it does this and now this. Now here it's pretty mature. You're getting close to a decision point, and that's essentially what we saw here. And then it's the context of the price action. This is after the break, a descending supply trend break. You can call it a trend line. It's a break of descending supply, more anxious sellers. And it looked like it was turning around. Nice volume here on the breakout as well. So there's some mojo. Now it's started to kind of turn around. Let's zoom in a little bit and take a little bit closer look. Price is above the MA200. First time it's done it really since November of 2024. And really the name of the game is, can you build rising demand? Can you build rising demand? You watch that level, you watch this level. You would have ideally, in an ideal world, right? You would have seen it hold here at $2. It didn't happen. That's okay. You want to see if it holds 165, 170 for the rising demand trend. So it's kind of red light turned orange, starting to turn green, which is a concept I've used many times. You may think of it also as stage analysis, right? Like the stage analysis 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's like rising. It's 1, 2, it's flat. 3, it's falling. Sorry, let's try that. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. And then 4 bottoming. So you got like stage analysis, red light, orange, green. It's the same concept here. I have a video on that, of course. Let me catch my breath. What do I think about hype? Yeah, let's talk about hype. Let's take a look at hype. Now the requests are coming in. This is what I want to see, folks. Thank you for all this. And hey, let me know you guys have any plans for the weekend. Let me know anything fun that you have planned, so I can live vicariously through you. I mean, look at this breakout and hype, and look at this volume. That's continued accumulation. Now, when you're zoomed in like this, you want to zoom out, then go to the weekly. Get in a little bit bigger perspective, and boom, new all-time high. You would immediately draw that. Okay, then you zoom back in, and you kind of understand the significance of the break. It's consolidating well above 50. This little peak here is notable, but this right here is a little bit more important going forward to see it hold. You've got rising lows, rising lows, rising lows, and a local breakout, EMA 8. What's EMA 8? This is exponential moving average, which means more price sensitive to the recent recent action. I mean, it's bullish. I don't know what more I really need to say. You know, everybody wants a price target. You could take very roughly this recent impulse and extend that from, say, a breakout point. You can do, but price targets in blue sky breakout, price targets a little bit useless. It's like that third nipple. You can't really do much with it. There's no price history. It's anybody's guess. You can take a Fibonacci extension. Your best bet is to really just follow the trend. Can it hold something like an EMA 8 first level? Does it hold maybe MA 20 for the second level? Does it hold like broken resistance? Can it turn it into support? That type of thing. Okay. Let's see. We covered that. We covered this. You want to take a look at grass? Yeah, grass has been kind of interesting. I have it in this other list. All right, and I'll be touching some grass this weekend. Going fishing. Well, that's not really touching grass, but I guess you have to touch grass on the way to the water, perhaps. So it's a bullish throwback. I mean, we've been talking about grass a little bit because of these big spikes, and then the price, the price establishing a local range peak. The term local means this nearby price action as opposed to this larger or broader range. A broader range peak might be here, taking into account this entire range, but when I'm discussing the local range peak, break, throwback, bullish retest. What's a throwback? It's one of the first videos up here. It's one of the most basic concept in classical charting. The idea is that when you break resistance, it should be support when you retest it, and that's what's happening here. All right, Robinhood. Yeah, I tweeted out Robinhood a moment ago. Let's take a look. There we go, Robinhood. Yeah, look at that. Oh, wow. So I tweeted it out here. It's already breaking above this peak. That's interesting. That is very, very interesting. Cleared that level, cleared this peak. Got this one just up above. That's your logical target for continuation. Should it clear and hold 90? Yeah, it looks really good. Your question is, it looks like inverted head and shoulders. Yeah. But the volume doesn't be as high as one would think. Yeah, I mean, volume as high as you would think. Well, what's the volume component, right, on head and shoulders? I have a video, of course, on head and shoulders. So generally, you have a downtrend. You generally are going to get the most volume on the left shoulder. So volume, big spike. And then more than before, but less in the head, and then even less on the right shoulder. And this is generally how you should see volume on a head and shoulders. And then in theory, you'd like to see volume on the breakout, confirming just more momentum, giving you more confidence in the momentum of the break. And then we kind of keep that in mind, and we look at this construction. It's not, textbook, but it still looks pretty normal. So I wouldn't expect to see a lot of volume. You would just see this generally declining volume, but it picked up on the left shoulder. So it looks fine for me. I'm not getting a signal, from the fact that there's not more volume as you put it. And even volume here coming on the breakout. So it actually looks pretty normal to me. All right. Does that make sense there, AO? Let's see. Crazy Cooter. What's up, brother? He says, beautiful day here. That's awesome, man. Let me know where you're at. Psalm Capital says, have you ever incorporated TD sequential and countdown in your trading process? I have not. However, I have on my list, I'm going to record a video on the concept of TD sequential. So, and then also one on the DeMark 9 or whatever. So I don't have a video on those things yet, but I understand that some people trade with that system. Some people trade with that style, and I'd like them to be able to come to the Trading Encyclopedia, look up a 3-4 minute video, and just be able to understand it, right? So, I've got 400 videos here, but I don't have everything covered yet. I'm working on it. I should have the TD sequential video within 2 months. So give me a little bit of time because I've got a lot of stuff that I'm working on, okay? Luca wants me to look at Dixie Monthly and INJ. Let's talk about INJ real quick. Let's talk about INJ. Great comments in the chat room, folks. Thank you so much. Keep them coming. Keep the questions coming. Let's see. Would be cool to do that. I checked that. And okay, we're talking about. Man, I'm getting old. I lose my mind so quickly. Okay, look at yeah. INJ and Dixie monthly. So let's go to INJ, assuming not in the monthly, but we talked about INJ a little bit at the beginning of the video. This is the broader range break, right? Breaking the local range. Now it's breaking broader range peak. This is probably the most time it's spent above the MA200 in a while. Well, really since August, so not that long ago, August 2025. So a little bit less than a year ago. Is this time different? It looks a little bit stronger because you can see the price back here. It never broke out of the broader range, and it's generally doing that now, right? So you've got some mojo, you got some momentum here. You didn't have the volume component you have here, aka accumulation, right? So INJ kind of looks interesting here. I'm probably going to start to cover it more actively on Bitcoin Live. Let's put it up there. And you want me to look at Dixie monthly? Sure. DXY, US dollar index. Let's get to it. Essentially a basket of currencies. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, kind of head and shoulders-ish, right? You want to go monthly? All right, get your chart requests ready, folks. I'm here for you, right or wrong. You're going to get honesty from me. I'm just going to take a look, give you my first instinct. Dixie monthly, it's just sideways. It generally stair-stepping, but I just don't see much of a trend or much real momentum here. It's just basically doing that since, April of 2015. Wow. That's basically sideways. You've got higher lows, but now you have lower highs. So it's in a range, and it's basically just going sideways is my take. So I'm not sure what you're thinking on the monthly. You see this local momentum flip as well. That's notable right at $100, clean psychological level. I'd pay attention to that. Let's see. Cheds, much love from Jordan. Thank you, man. It's great to see you again, Amar. Can I look at Fetch? Yeah, let's take a look at Fetch. Some of these AI plays, I had some mojo recently. We talked about Render. It was looking pretty good. We'll take a look at Fetch. See how Fetch is doing. I saw some people tweeting about it. For me, it's not quite there. It's still a pretty ugly chart. This is still a pretty ugly chart. But if we start to break up above, let's get that. Let's get this. Let's do copy paste over there. Boom, boom, boom there. If we start to break above that level, that would be interesting. But it's still, where's the volume for the breakout and where's the accumulation? It's okay. I definitely don't. What was I drawing here? This looks like you're playing Hanging Man with your family, right? Do the circle. You guessed the letter wrong, right? Do the circle. But anyway, yeah, I don't like this chart that much yet. It's got a long ways to go. I'd say it's almost sideways if you want to take the red light, orange light metaphor. I think it's kind of pretty much almost orange light. But there's a lot of better charts I'd rather play. Marhaba, you're welcome. Marhaba, you are the best. Thank you. I'd like to. Dano, how you doing, Dano? Somebody asked me to look at Sui. Okay. Yikes. So hopefully you are not holding this, whoever requested this. Hopefully you have no position, unless you're short, and you've done quite well on the bounce into the underside. There's your support that is turned into resistance, le resistance, when the price is unable to hold it. All right, boom, and then we'll take that and we'll copy paste it again, and now it's resistance, where it most recently rejected. So what is the overall theme, right? If you want to go long, find an uptrend that dipped. If you want to go short, find a downtrend that just ripped, and that's exactly what this was. Beautiful rip into this clear underside and roll over, and then here was another shot at a short if you wanted on the failed, throwback. It's a garbage chart. I really hope you're not holding any. That's my honest opinion. XLE Energy ETF. I will say I have some. I'm a holder, I'll be honest. you know, when I look at something, I want to let you know, and you can make your own decision if that, you know, if that's clouding my judgment or whatever you want to say. I mean, it's clearly it's an uptrend. Look at this price distance to the rising MA200. I generally just see this as in a triangle, which is a bullish. It's a most of the time symmetrical triangles are continuation patterns. This is probably going to bounce off of this rising demand trend here. I think it probably will bullishly continue, right? So I still like it. It's still bullish consolidation. I would favor this to continue with the trend, which is a rising MA200. Let's see. Trader XT, how's it going, brother? He says, can you look at XAVA? Sure. That's like the coffee shop. Isn't there like a coffee shop called this? XAVA? Is it XAVA Avalanche? Is it crypto? Okay, Zava. Let's try one with volume here. Let's do that one. Because you go to the crypto.com server, you don't get volume in trading view. And boom, there we go. Because looking at candlesticks without volume, it's pretty useless. Your comment was it just tested an important level. So you mean up here around 30 cents? I mean, it's reasonable. What do we think? Let's go to the weekly chart. This is pretty choppy. And, you know, when you see this type of a move, you need to put it into perspective. We'll kind of zoom out, and it's a bounce in a downtrend. And it's a bounce into where it rejected back in July. So that's very clear. I will say that this new rejection here, here's this rejection, here's the prior one, sets this up as a pretty clear trigger level if it can flip. So on the high time frame, right, breaking, say, a weekly close above 34 cents would be a buy signal on this chart. But the daily momentum's a little bit more muddled. We do see a big break in momentum, test of the 50, loss of the 50. This shot up pretty quickly that I'm not sure. I mean, you could see maybe find some footing here around 24 cents. Maybe you kind of watch and see here, but it probably does drop down to at least to that level. All right. Let's see. Karina, hey, nice to see you, Karina. Thanks for coming. Karina says, and folks, keep those comments, keep those requests coming. I only will go on as long as you want me to look at charts. You know, otherwise I'm going to go practice my jump shot. I'm going to go work on, you know, my front kicks, my roundhouse kicks. I'll go do gardening. I'll do something. Or maybe I'll degen trade. Maybe I'll do all of that. Let's see. Karina says, I joined a bit late. Thanks, Cheds, for the great analysis. You're welcome. How do you know it was great, though, if you joined late? What if it was terrible analysis, Karina? You'd never know. He says, if you haven't covered H yet, humanity. Will you look at what is humanity? Is that like, I don't know how many of you folks, let me know, watch the show Seinfeld. You know, the Human Fund? He did like a fake, he did like a fake gift to someone. I gifted you, you know, $500 in honor of like the Human Fund. There's no such thing. H, is it? I don't see humanity. Here we go. Humanity protocol. Okay. HUSD. Here we go. Let's try Qcoin. You get some of these fringe coins. You know, Qcoin usually has it, maybe a little bit of price history. So what do we think? Yeah, it's not a bad looking chart at all. Not bad at all. This is bullish for sure. This is still pretty bullish price action as well. Bull rectangle likely to continue. Holding importantly above, you know, 19, 20 cents. This is a decent chart. This is the first requested altcoin chart. Well, I mean, other than the ones I already covered voluntarily, like Venice or whatever, but this is decent. Absolutely decent. Owl says, teaching jiu-jitsu for free. That's awesome, man. If anyone is in Southern California, he's invited. So check it out. If you're in Southern Cal, Owl of Minerva will teach you jiu-jitsu. That's awesome. I know I don't want to mess with you, brother. If I can stay on my feet, I can stay. I'm pretty good in a fight on my feet. I'll tell you that much. But on the ground, who knows, right? But isn't there they say something like, you know, like 2/3 of fights, most fights end up on the ground. So the key is, you know, I'm going to try to stay on the ground and manage my distance, get my, you know, handle myself that way. Anyway, let's see. Crosshair Precision says hello. Nice to see you, Crosshair. David Murphy. David Murphy has a detailed question on Bitcoin. This is what I want to hear. Get your detailed questions. I'm a detail-oriented guy, okay? So here's Bitcoin, potential tweezer bottom. Bounce in a downtrend, though. We're in a falling channel. What's your question? Your question is, I'm short from 78.5. Okay, reasonable. Here, okay, good. On the rejection, very decent. I also longed 72.6 earlier. Is that stupid? Not really. I mean, it's setting up for a bounce. I just don't think there's a lot of juice in this bounce. Yes, it's a tweezer bottom, but no, there's not a lot of volume on it. And like we had this bounce, but it was very mild. It was just 75 to 78. This is probably just going to be 72 to like 75, 76. So you can long this, but I just don't know that it has that much legs. I think this short, you should start to look to maybe close, see how it reacts around 71.5. That's just my thoughts. I know you don't crypto. Just curious what do you mean I don't crypto? Well, my thoughts are, or maybe you mean only crypto? I cover all markets. I trade all markets. What are my thoughts on silver? Yeah, let's go take a look at silver. Let's go here. Let us visualize world P's. Here we go. Here's my thoughts on silver. It's in a tightening range, and it's holding important. Let's clean this up. It's a little bit messy, but we see the tightening range. And what I have been focused on with my commentary and my analysis is just holding here above 71, 72. It's still holding there. It's price consolidating it after this massive move. Like a move like this, it just needs to digest. I mean, that was a 120% move on a kind of a dino asset, silver. And so it's tightening range, it's consolidating, but it's holding support. So those are my thoughts on silver. Let's see. What is crab? Owl of Minerva. I don't know what crab means, but maybe loves crab. Oh, crabs. Doesn't like crabs. Oh, because it's the beach. Is that what that means? Lon Levine. Where would I buy near? Where would I buy near? Where would I buy near? Like a $1.85 would be interesting. And then it would really kind of depend on what else I see, but I'd probably like 185. Just boom. 185, maybe around $2, at these lows, maybe. I mean, you've got structural support, you've got history here. But you don't know, because the idea is that I could draw this box, but it doesn't mean I'm going to buy there. What it means is when it gets to this level, I drop to lower time frame, right? That's the concept in classical charting. I drop to a 4-hour. Or I drop to 1 hour. And what I would be looking for is something like this. What I'd be looking for is something like this. It gets down here, it sets a low, and then it sweeps it and recaptures it. And then I could take along there, right? I'd be looking for a spring, or I'd be looking for, here's the box, or I'd be looking for something like this, lower high break, and I can take that, right? That's the concept in classical charting. Is when you drop to a lower time frame, when the price is at a key level and after volatility. And of course, that's all explained in the trading encyclopedia, right? What time frame should I use and all these concepts. I've been throwing them out at you. I'm not trying to confuse you. I'm literally trying to teach you professional TA for free. I've done CMT. I did CMT 1 at least. And I just want to make this stuff accessible. I really do. I really wish this had been around when I started. It would have saved me many, many years of trouble. I'll tell you that much. So that's the question about near QNT, H bar. Okay, let's go through this. Let's go QNT and H bar. H bar sucks. Why do you even mention H bar? It's a terrible chart, brother. Jiu-Jitsu, brother. Why would you mention this thing? H bar daily. Yeah, I just delete this from the watch list. It's just a terrible chart. Uninteresting. H bar is in the delete from watch list category. Okay. QNT. Yeah, QNT, I don't like it either, but if it starts to perk up, it starts to break back up above, 85, 86, 87, maybe, but let's go to the weekly. Let's go to the weekly. Look at that price compression. Okay, higher lows, yada, yada, yada. Big old triangle. What did I say earlier? Who remembers what I said earlier about triangles and symmetrical triangles? Well, you can, of course, just go watch a video on a symmetrical triangle in the encyclopedia, but they usually lead to continuation. This one probably goes lower. I don't like this chart. I think there's just so many better charts that we don't need to spend our time, waste our time in these types of charts. All right, we covered SUI. We have not covered, so we haven't covered SEI. That's right. I've forgotten about this one. This little gem, if you will. Oh, here we go. You know what we think? Delete from watch list, okay? That's what I think about this one. This one's terrible. What are we doing, folks? Yikes. This is the most delete of all the ones we've looked at so far. This is the most delete from watch list of any of the ones that we looked at so far. It's terrible. Yeah, XLM's interesting. Let's go to Stellar Lumen. Where do I have so many watch lists? I have so many tickers. I may be going crazy. I may already be crazy. I don't quite know. Having fun though. Crazy fun. Let's go to XLM. Boom. Boom. Big base break. Interaction with the underside and attempted reclaim. So let's zoom in now. Let's zoom in. What did we talk about earlier that had that key rejection at that level? It was SUI, right? So SUI, what SUI did, right, had similar kind of a base break. Ondo did the same thing, if you remember. Had kind of like a local, so local range break, and then the kind of the broader range, which would this underside here, rejection. And XLM, not quite rejecting yet. I mean, if this thing holds above 20 cents, 19, 20 cents, it's a decent chance it can push higher up to around 24, 25. It's got some mojo. You're going to need to see a lot of continuation. It's been incredibly disappointing throughout the years. I think we all know that, but this one's perking up. I like that. Can it, when you break resistance, can you hold on a retest? It's just what it really comes down to. Like, can you hold here? Like, can you hold here? It's just that. That's what it comes down to. You don't have to overcomplicate your system. You don't need to look at the order books. You don't need to kind of read the white paper or whatever they call it, whatever they call it. Those silly fundamental analysts, those astrologists, right? I kid, of course. Or do I? What is PHA? Is that phalanx or something? I think I remember a ticker like I've been doing this for so long that I still kind of remember. Is it phalanx? Phallo, that's right. Okay. Cheds, I've still got it, right? I've still got it. Let's take a look at PHA. Okay. Interessante. I mean, do we hold here, right? I just boom, 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 throwback. Can it hold some accumulation? That's good. Held these lows, very important. That's critical as well. Broader base break, and now it's doing a throwback. Nice and easy. ARW, Airweave, it's just AR, right? ARUSD. Yep. Add this one to the list. All right. Let's go down here. We'll go to this one. I don't know. I mean, higher lows. Bounce into that level. I don't know. I don't know that you need maybe delete. I don't know if you need to delete it from the watch list, but you could. But I don't like this chart. It's too weak. I just dislike weak charts. It's a weak chart. And ICP, what's going on here in this ICP? Beautiful coin. Some say the most beautiful ever. ICP. Hope everybody's having fun. It's great to be able. I got to tell you that it's so much fun to be able to stream. And then just like talk with you folks all around the world. We're shooting the shit. We're chit-chatting. And I just love doing this. I would do it more, but honestly, I'm telling you, Bitcoin Live it's my priority. So Bitcoin Live always comes first. ICP, delete it from the watch list. It's just a terrible chart. This is a delete. This is a delete from watch list. Do not hold these garbage coins. Save your money. You don't need to go to bed worried about it. Wake up, check the price. It owns you emotionally. This is just trash chart. Covered XLM. We covered SUI. We covered NEAR. We covered all those. I'm cracking here. I'm going through all these. Sol, yeah, we haven't done Sol yet. What a disappointment, huh? On Solana. Soilana. Yeah, I mean, what is Solana? I mean, it's just preparing for a breakdown. Really, 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 really disappointing. Very, very, very weak. And if it wasn't Solana, for whatever that means, you could also delete from the watch list. Just a very, very rough looking chart. You just don't need to do anything on this until it can break 95, or sorry, 90, 96, 97. I just completely ignore it. Set a trading view alert for if the price gets nearby this level, and you can start to watch it. Just what a terrible chart. Kind of like XRP, just garbage. Pure garbage. Karina says, your analysis is always great, Karina. Well, sometimes it's good. I'm always trying, I'll tell you that much. Recovered Soul. Let's see. Tiago says, thanks for all the streams. Do you mind charting VVV? I did Venice earlier already. Okay, I'm watching to see a retest of 13 bucks. You're looking to reload it. I think we probably dropped around 13 at some point. Thoughts on COPX, the copper index? Don't mind if I do. Let's take a look. COPX. Let's go to all. We'll go to Global Copper Miners ETF. Let's pull it up. It's bullish for sure. This is a bullish look. Kind of has like a head and shoulders continuation look. Do you see that? But that's bullish. This will continue most likely with the trend. That's a good looking chart. I would much rather be a bull than a bear. Let's see. Dogeman says, I'm going to make a donation to the Human Fund in your honor, just like Costanza. Good man. Good man. GFS stock. Okay. Is that GFS. Global Foundries. What do they do? Like metals and stuff? Whoa, that's bullish. That looks really good. Boom. That is beautiful. Look at this. Look at this beautiful weekly break. You don't need to buy a bottom. You really don't need to try to buy a bottom. You just got to wait for the trend to reverse and ride it. I mean, that's just what it's all about. Here's your 2-level filter breakout right at 40 bucks. What's the 2-level filter breakout? Of course, the Trading Encyclopedia, and it's one of the top videos for sure. 2-level filter breakout. It's the 3rd most popular video. I mean, just that's the whole thing. You don't need to nail a bottom, just ride a trend, and you've done incredibly well with this one. Break to new all-time highs. Beautiful chart. I've not covered Zcash. Great question. Let's see. Wish I found you earlier. Just beginning to learn TA, says Owl. Thanks. Did you know I have a video on Ichimoku? What a surprise. I have it in here somewhere. But I have recorded a video on the Ichimoku cloud. I've tweeted it out. You can find that in the encyclopedia. Let's do Zcash. I haven't really covered it. I don't think this video. Let's go to the daily chart. Yeah, what do we think? I mean, what do we think? It's clearly still bullish, but it's consolidating a little bit. We can mark the rising demand trend. We can look at price versus prior highs. That is importante. That's important as well, and that puts the price here at a key momentum pivot. Right? What's a pivot? I get a video on that, of course, a momentum pivot, and really just you would expect the price to continue here, and if it loses this level, it would be, somewhat of a suggestion of weakening trend in that ability to hold here, the most recent price action, inability to hold here, a key prior lower high that was broken and should be held on a recapture, and the rising demand trend. Boom. Big spot Marvel structure, MRVL. What do we think about Marvel? What do we think about? Whoa, that's quite bullish. Yeah. Let's zoom out. Let's put this move into perspective. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty sick, right? This is from, I was trading options in this in 2021. How about that? Let's see. Yeah, EMA 8 here weekly. Go back to the daily. MA 20 support. We kind of zoom in. Local highs, range low. It's a bullish chart. No real warning signs. Even with this bear engulfing, whatever. It's still holding EMA 8. It's a beautiful chart. Let's see. Love it. We'll check your Ichimoku video. Check it out. We'll do a couple of those. Owl just gave me like 6 tokens. Let's do Tau. Let's go to Tau. I have this on my other video. Happy Friday to everybody. Quick reminder, check me out in Bitcoin Live. Public blog. By the way, the administration, they declassify my reports like 3 or 4 times a year. Check out the public blog. Check out this stream is sponsored by BingX, my favorite exchange. I've worked with them for 6 years. Let's see. So you want to talk about Tau. It's been kind of underperforming here. Yeah, I just think Tau's headed down to around low 230s. I just think you want to watch that level. It's got a clear loss of momentum here. Would have wanted to see it hold there. It did not happen. Let's see. Uranium miner. Now, this is another one. Well, I will say I have a bag. I am a holder. I want to give you kind of full disclosure so that you don't, I'm not trying to, like, you know, people talk up their bags. I try to be honest with you. This is bullish, though. I mean, there's a reason I'm holding this. So this is an ascending triangle testing the rising demand trend. It also pays like, I don't know, 3.5%, 4%. Yeah, dividend here. I hold it. I like it. I like compounding dividends. I'm getting older. I'm an old man. I like safer investments. And this is a bullish trend. So I like uranium to go higher. I've already done INJ living, by the way. Thank you for asking. I've already done it. Just kind of talking about the increasing momentum out of the bottom and the importance of this broader range break. You'd really like to see it hold, you know, 560-ish going forward this level, and ideally $6. But this is a beautiful chart. We see the accumulation here, and then the breakout. INJ looks really good. So to kind of summarize things for you folks, I've covered everybody's request. This has been a great stream. And I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have you here. I really appreciate you. Even if you're on replay and you're watching this, like, well, some people watch this like in the gym. I saw a guy who was watching this like in his car, on the screen in his car. Like, whatever floats your boat. I'm glad you're here. You know, if you're on replay, try to catch it next time. But Bitcoin, just to remind everyone, I think we're headed towards 71.5 in the short term. I'm watching and waiting for the reaction there. I've been talking about that since around the failed hold here around 79K when we started this new falling channel. I've been trying to mark out these little bounces for you within the channel, and likely another one here. But I think the bounce that this looks to be forming with the tweezer bottom, it's going to be a very small bounce. So I think maybe we bounce to, you know, maybe 76K. And then roll over. And I think we're going to be at 71.5 in the next, maybe this weekend, in the near term. And so for me, the next major step is I'm watching to see, you know, price reaction at that level. It's still kind of a momentum hangover from the failed move back into this range, 85K, failed RSI power zone, you know, all that good stuff. So, I already did fetch, man. I already did fetch, Henry. You can rewatch the video. I've already done fetch. Dexy, I'll do this real quick. Dexy's super strong. Sexy Dexy. I tweeted out a weekly chart. This thing's like a stud. Beautiful bullish momentum. Testing the key level for sure. You know, want to see it hold $12 going forward. But Dexy bulls are definitely in charge. This is a nice looking chart. I'll do the last one, Red Cat. I don't know what this one is. R Cat. Red Cat Holdings. Okay. Yeah, okay. Some accumulation here. Nice gap up. Breakaway gap. This is a 2-level filter break. But it's still in a sideways trend. So you've got some work to do, but there's some momentum here toward kind of the tail end. I mean, this is also generally an ascending triangle. Probably better viewed in the monthly chart. Right? Rising demand trend. Clear range peak established. It's a pretty good looking chart. I like that one as well. So, all right. I'm going to, next week I'm gone fishing, but you'll see me on Twitter and of course Bitcoin Live, where I have not skipped a report in 8 years. You know, catch me on Twitter, send me a message. I'll try to reply. My next stream is going to be in like 10 days, maybe 2 weeks. My next YouTube live stream. In the meantime, your homework is watch these videos. I've created hundreds, literally 361 published videos in the Trading Encyclopedia. My books, if you don't want to buy them, you don't have to. They're free on my YouTube channel, in the Encyclopedia, Trading Wisdom playlist, Trading Quotes playlist, Cancer Memoir playlist. Check out all my interviews. Chartman Dan's my favorite one. That guy's an absolute stud. Great teacher, somebody I admire quite a bit. So we're going to dance with Church of Eight Wheels, and then you know, we'll each move on from this, and we'll say it was a beautiful thing. So, folks, thank you so much, and let's do some dancing. Here we go.